On YouTube.
Which doesn't mean.
Makeup was so. I thought I brought it in here and I can't find it anywhere. But you know what? It threw me with the snow.
Yes.
I got excited.
Got you all discombobulated, huh?
It really did. I got way too freaking excited. I was probably the only idiot out there running around in it. I'm serious. I was outside. It was awesome, though. You got to play in it. I mean, how often does that happen? When was the last time it happened?
On the ground to get it. I mean, on the car hoods where there was enough maybe to make a snowball out of it.
And then I could have thrown it at you. You weren't even here. I could have made... Aw, I should have made a little mini snowman. Dang it.
You'd have been getting snow from 3 blocks around to try and make it.
No, there was a lot. Especially in the trampoline. There was a ton. National days. Today is National... Ooh, we'll go opposite day.
Opposite day?
Yeah. So it's like me and you. We were just kind of talking about that anyway.
Yeah.
But tomorrow is going to be National Plan for a Vacation Day because we all need that. Right?
Well, yes. Although, I mean, some say we've been on a vacation almost all year. Just the...
But not a vacation
yes,
vacation.
It's a vacation from hell. Slide guitar music that comes on every Monday through Friday, live at 5 on IE Newswire on Twitch, Facebook, and
on YouTube? Are we? I can't find... Oh, yeah. And on you go and hit that like and subscribe button and share us all over your world and head over to our Twitch account and hit that purple follow button as well. We're on there.
It's a purple... Why is it a purple follow button?
On Twitch, YouTube's red, Facebook's blue, Instagram
is... I don't ever hardly
I don't know.
on there.
What is Instagram? Maybe it's black. I'm not sure.
The whole social media thing is turning into one black, deep, dark black hole of that. And would you agree or disagree?
I agree, but I think it's if you make it that way. But I think a lot of people are getting off it, which is making my heart a little happy, in a way. I'm so sick of social media. Why are you? What was that look for?
What?
I don't know. It was scaring me. But no, I think on social media, I mean, if you can Google kitten videos or you can look up other crap. I think it just depends on what you're into. I think there's a lot of sadness in the world right now, though, so I think it's going to be a struggle to find that.
From someone who, not too long ago, was...
Carry on. Was what?
You know what's coming.
No, I have no idea.
I could never get rid of social
I would have I'm not saying I couldn't get rid of it. It wouldn't be hard to get rid of. I mean, to get off social media, it'd be very hard to get off of it. That's how you get most of your news. That's how you stay in contact with people these days. But doesn't mean I'm not sick of it and I can't wait for it to...
That's how you choose to get your news.
Shut up. I get my news from our show. So if I get off social media, then you're not going to have a viewer. And I'm only one of 5. No, I'm just kidding. No, I think social media, it's a great thing if you utilize it the right way. But I think that, unfortunately, I think the younger generation or just the upset generation uses it more now to piss people off than make it a good thing. I think a good thing that once was there is now gone. I think people are sick of that.
Are we on Facebook or maybe mine's just being mad? I know we're on Twitch and the other one. But maybe they heard us talking about them. They went...
They're saying they can't. They're saying they can't. They can't hear you.
Well, my meter's running. Let me turn it up a little bit, I think. That. Now can you hear me better? Wow. Works better that way. So my loud voice was carrying over on your mic again.
Susan from Hooper Valley writes in, why are you complaining? I think she's talking to me, though. I don't know. I think it was you, though. Who knows? Anyways,
clarify who was doing the complaining, Susan from Harupa Valley.
What do you guys think about social media? Write it in the comment section, and we will read it.
Yeah, from all the stuff that's went over in the last couple months, a lot of people dumping Facebooks and Instagrams.
I really think a lot of people are.
And then Parlor up and down. All of a sudden they were there. People went over there, and all of a sudden they pulled the plug on that, and back and forth on that. We're dealing with Jeff Bezos and his opinion when it comes to his company on that, and mail-in ballots and stuff. That'll be a neat story, I think, a little bit coming out on the enchilada.
It's Amazon.
Rolling on there.
Robert writes in on Facebook, it's about social media.
Which is
Oh, she was talking about you. Yes. Thanks, Susan from Rebelling.
She just didn't want to hear the wrath from you.
Maybe not.
That one thing, I just wanted to touch on this a little bit. Everybody is speculating because it's been, it's now past the 9-month mark on the whole coronavirus stuff, and everybody's predicting, there's going to be a big baby boom coming on. So in Channel 4, there's no coronavirus. Baby boom, it's more like a baby bus going up and down. Not even locking couples up and obliterating their social calendars could convince more Americans to have babies, as our quarantine-inspired baby boom has failed to materialize. Instead, America has entered into a pandemic-inspired baby bust. Several states that keep track of births in near real time, as well as some hospital systems, contacted NBCLX, recorded significant drops in December 2020 birth rates compared to the same period 1 year earlier. That includes Florida down 8%, Ohio down 7%, Arizona down 5%. So it appears there was no baby boom or no booming and banging going on after the lockdowns of that. Actually, it seems that men and women probably drifted apart, or at least those that were hooked up together drifted apart further, or weren't having as much sex or something going on at the start of that. I'm curious. We're going to track this one because I'm going to see if this trend follows.
We're going to track the baby boom?
Yes, I'm thinking if it didn't flop on the first month that this happened,
but I think so many
it's probably really going to drop in 3, 4, and 5, and 6 months into this.
I think so many.
Because then you were really tired of looking at.
So many people are getting divorced and being locked up, and like it said in the article too, parents or families being stressed out about money, financial. I mean, who really wants to get in the mood during all that? However,
what else is there to do?
With all the divorce stuff going on, you think that they're going out and meeting new people. So the baby boom is probably going to be booming after people get free. It's going to be like a bunch of rabbits out there in the world. But then you have the glory hole stuff going on too. I mean, who's going to get in the mood and want to have a baby through a glory hole?
That whole thing just blows my mind anyway on the old deal. Gavin Newsom was on the blower today.
You scared me.
And Cliff Cummings will be on later on. We'll talk a little bit more. We'll get his opinion on it too. But I just wanted to touch on it. All of a sudden, in the worst pandemic and 500 deaths per year, and we're all going to die, and we got to lock down, and this and that, and statistics are bad, and zero ICU capacity, and the whole world's falling apart. Today, he drops the stay-at-home orders. Now you can't even see anyone outside your immediate family. You can't eat at restaurants are closed down, hair salons, and because we were all going to die. We were all going to die Friday. The numbers have not changed. The numbers are worse than they were in November and December when he was talking about this crap and putting these orders in. But all of a sudden, voila, well, maybe our projections and this, and it's going to get better, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. No, I'm going to say this. Gavin Newsom, you're the ultimate political animal, and I would bet dimes to a donuts my farm, everybody else's farm, and anything else. You've been seeing some internal polling. You're looking at the 1.2 million and counting recall Gavin Newsom signatures, and you're thinking your sorry butt is going to be recalled. You're going to be the first. Gray Davis was recalled in his second term. You're going to have the distinction of the first recalled governor in his first term by just being a complete freaking idiot. And not only that, the danger of this thumbing his nose at the California United States Constitution, putting these illegal lockdowns on, and you want to go through in conjunction with the teachers unions. And we can go through all the stuff from Fairfax County, Virginia, to Chicago, to Los Angeles. Teachers unions right now they're in line for the vaccination, and they don't even once they get vaccinated, they do not want to go back to class. What more evidence do you need? They are pulling this crap. They've been pulling the chains of politicians like Pelosi and Newsom and Biden and all this other stuff because you know what? It's all about the money. And that's $200 million in campaign contributions in the last decade from the California Teachers Union alone spent in California, far dwarfing any company, PAC, or anything else. That's where the power is. They do not want to go back to work. They do not care, as it is in the Las Vegas one. We can pull the article. The kids are getting suicides in Clark County, which is the Las Vegas area, because they're not going to school or socialization or anything else, and they don't care. Just like Newsom doesn't care. But, boy, I think I'm going to get my ass recalled. Boy, we'll start rescinding this stuff when numbers are at their highest or in their highest peaks of ever on all this COVID stuff from the stupid policies, and we'll have Kelly Victory on tomorrow. The difference between the treatment plan in New York and California versus Texas or Florida or anywhere else of the protocol that doctors have been using at this, and this is the danger of nationalized government-run healthcare. Barack Obama said it best, I think, when he was running in 2007 for president of the United States. And he said all about, you know what government health care is? We're going to give you an aspirin and tell you to go home. Now, it may take a little bit of reading between the lines on that, but what he was basically telling you is once you get government health care, the health system as you knew it, as we built the finest health hospital doctor system in the recorded world history, is going to be gone. And only the elites and the rich are going to get that kind of care, and you're going to get diddly squat.
I think we should do like what Dr. Kelly said, how she said that some places are handing out that medication that she often talks about. I forget what it's called. I don't want to give out wrong information. To help you get over this cold, or not cold, but virus and all this. But it is amazing that it vanished quickly, as it did. Right? It's magical. Jarrett writes in, I just want to read his comment. He states that the recall, if you're forgetting that recalls have to be voted by a whole state, it's a wasted effort.
We shall see, old Jarrett.
That was a question, though. I was really wondering. If he gets a recall and everybody fills out this petition, it goes through and does all the other...
There's going to be an election. There'll be 2 questions on it.
But if that many people... This is where I'm getting confused. If that many people are filling this out, going through that effort of getting it off, why wouldn't he be recalled?
Pretty much. I think the stats are... It's like 70-75%. If the recall effort qualifies, your odds of going out are about 3-1.
Right.
About only 20-25% of the people beat the recall effort. So, if the recall effort... Now, most recall efforts don't qualify. The overwhelming majority of the recall efforts that are started... Mind you, there's been 3 or 4 of them up to this point. There's been one almost ever since Gavin Newsom's got in office. This one's gaining traction because of Gavin Newsom's gaffes.
Yes,
of that. So... if this qualifies, once it qualifies, then most likely your sorry butt is going to be gone. And that's, if just pulling a recall, there's hundreds of them that have gone by the wayside. Like I said, I think only like 25% of them that are actually pulled actually get on the ballot. But if they do qualify and get on the ballot, your odds of beating them are very, very slim. And like in Moreno Valley, we've had 2 or 3 council members, and they've all been successful. So, the ones that qualified. So when you do that, and that's why I say, once they are qualified, your sorry rear end is most likely going to be on the outside looking in far as political office.
I think there's always hope and like a little loophole. I mean, Biden won presidency. I can't even talk. So, I mean, there's always ways around stuff, right? Ish.
Flashback. Nancy Pelosi praised unionists storming Wisconsin state capitol. Democrats were for occupying capitals before they were against it. Fox News contributor writes. As that, pull up number 4, please. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has gone on record praising the storming of the Capitol, an impressive show of democracy action, 2011 invasion in Madison, Wisconsin state capitol. That is, Pelosi's previous comments resurfaced after following a disturbing assault in the U.S. Capitol earlier this month in the hands of a right-wing mob who stormed halls of Congress, and we don't even know that. That's not necessarily accurate. Congress hoping to prevent the certification of the U.S. presidential election. The assault drew forceful condemnations from both sides of the political aisle, including Pelosi, who wasted little time in introducing former President Trump's impeachment for the House, inciting the violence. 10 years earlier, unionists, public employee unionists, stormed the Capitol in an attempt to block a collective bargaining, and thousands of demonstrators managed to enter the building, violently breaking down doors and shattering windows. But this attack garnered much praise from Pelosi and other Democrats at the time. Jarrett and company and Carlos, can you say hypocrite? Is Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats and all that are calling out Trump when they were praising the unionists that were doing the exact same thing in Wisconsin 10 years ago? I want to see on the record, Jarrett, Carlos, and those of you that are in that, I want to see where you're calling out Nancy Pelosi for being a hypocrite, for running impeachment, for anything else, when she was egging this stuff on 10 years ago when it was the ones that were lining her pockets with campaign cash.
Campaign cash. BS. Baloney. I caught half of what you're saying. I'm sorry.
Well, isn't that how hypocritical can you be? To blame Trump, which didn't incite the riot.
No, and that's where it's sad. You can tell that they just didn't like him, and that's what they were going off of. Any little thing that he did would have been the wrong thing, no matter what. He could have gave a naked child that had no clothes at home and clothing and food, and he would have been the world's biggest dick in the world. You know what I mean? Excuse my language, but that's how it is. But then if Newsom does it or something, everyone's jumping up and down saying how great he is. Well, not really Newsom. We'll go with Biden.
You know who you're sounding like?
Crap. I gotta go. No, I sound like Diane. She always gives me great advice while we're on the show. Or Ann. Or Susan from Herb Valley. It's sad. And if I can see it,
yes.
I know other people out there. And that's where it's like, why are people arguing about this? Stop arguing about Roy being right or Roy knowing what he's talking, or Susan Shelley or anybody else, and just open your eyes and see how effed up the world is, and let's fix the damn thing so we can get back to normal. I want to go to a frickin' bar and have a drink. Right?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, carry on. That's my rant.
I want to do this, and this is Fairfax County. You pull up number 4, please.
Where's Fairfax at, though?
In Virginia.
Oh, okay.
Right by the Washington, D.C. It's the right off of Washington, D.C., that's where a lot of people live or go to work. It's like, it would almost be a suburb, but it's a lot bigger than Washington, D.C. Mm-hmm. Teachers declared essential workers get vaccine, but won't to commit to in-person learning by fall. So again, I want to show There is the evidence that teachers do not want to go back to work. Even if they get the vaccine, they're saying, we're not going back to work. We'll not commit to in-person learning by fall, by September, by the next school year. Chicago. Teachers will work remotely Monday, defying CPS orders. If district locks them out, they'll strike. Thousands of CPS teachers, that's Chicago's unions, were supposed to report to the classroom Monday, but they'll work remotely instead. The decision comes as they may have expressed concerns about spreading coronavirus. The evidence has been clear up and down the line. The kids are not spreading this. They're not doing this. There's been no danger. Gavin Newsom's got his kids in a private school, getting in-house learning, getting in-school learning every day, while your kids are sitting at home on Zoom, and their education is getting wrecked by all the evidence. I mean, what if there was nothing else in this whole thing? Gavin Newsom should be out of office for that alone.
And his winery should shut down. Or should open them up to the public for free. See, I have to disagree with you on this one. It's Sliver, because a lot of teachers I know are posting on their social media how much they miss their kids, and so I think Moreno Valley is blessed a little bit with teachers that want to go back. So thank you to those teachers that are taking that initiative and filling out the recall, Gavin, and going and getting your vaccinations and doing all that to get your students back in your classroom.
Yeah, I'd like to see how many of them have, you know what, if any of you teachers that want to come on the show and do that, or address your school board.
And you can also remain anonymous as well if you would like to just send a message in or come on and call in your name. Or you can have Roy. No, never mind. That's a bad idea. But there are a lot of teachers that I see that I personally know that do want to go back to school and are eager and miss their students and are having a very hard time with this.
And again, step up to the plate. Nothing happens if you sit in silence. And that's where we're at. It's just like that. If nobody was out there getting petitions, if nobody put this petition drive together and got out there and getting the signatures and doing it, Gavin Newsom's butt would still be, may remain in there, for 8 years. And you're going to endure that. I mean, we got Biden in there with this critical race theory, and we can pull that up, going on back and forth of that. You don't think it's happening? It's in the New York Post. We can pull the article, and we may do that in the second half hour. They're pushing it. He took Trump's deal, not voluntary. Trump said you're not forced to. He's pulling that stuff off quietly, as he said. The stuff is coming back in under the Biden administration, Federal Department of Education. It's coming, and if you want to endure that, and all of the critical race and the hate, this is a reason. Well, one thing, because it was snowing and I didn't want my hair to get wet in Moreno Valley, but this is why I got the cowboy hat on.
What?
Well,
you don't want your hair to get messed up?
Well, no, because it was snowing. But the reason I got the cowboy hat on is we need to start getting back to our roots of how this country was founded.
Kevin Green writes in, "It snowed in Mobile." Oh, it was neat.
Yes, it was. And we need to start getting that spirit back in and not saying no, but hell no. And not hiding in the corner or saying, oh, well, I'll take the $400. If I got to get the vaccine, if they would make the $1,400 stimulus of getting the vaccine, well, I'll take the vaccine. No, tell them to shove it up their ass.
Beep. Really don't have bleeper.
Here's another one coming up. Give me number 4, because we got a lot of stuff to go through today. The owner of the Washington Post has officially stated the mail-in ballot elections have serious and systematic flaws. This is on Jack Poslevic. He's on OANN, America One News Network. He's a good, I think he's a great reporter of going on with this. There's Jack Dorsey's Twitter with this claim of election fraud is disputed, and his tweet can't be replied to or retweeted due to risk of violence. Here is the story in CNN. Amazon is pushing for a milestone union vote to take place in person despite the pandemic by Sarah Ashley O'Brien, CNN Business. CNN Business. Amazon is once again asking the National Labor Relations Board to direct thousands of company warehouse workers at the Alabama facility to cast votes in person on whether to form a union rather than by mail despite the ongoing pandemic. Now, let's flip back to Jack, what he wrote. The owner of the Washington Post, which is Jeff Bezos, who also owns Amazon.
He owns Washington Post?
Yes.
Shut up.
Officially stated that the mail-in ballot elections have serious and systematic flaws. And they put this claim of election fraud is disputed, and his tweet can't be replied to or retweeted or liked due to risk of violence. This is what you're down to of that. You want to follow this, and they've got the wherewithal. Amazon, like Parler, owned by Jeff Bezos, if I have my information correct, pulled the plug on Parler.
This is why I don't shop Amazon.
This is the danger of putting power in the control of a few. Where you guys go with that swiping the card at the store, and they know every bit of information, the information mining. Like I said, they know more about you than you know about you. And that's how they control you. You think all this stuff is...
You scared me.
Is that? This is a Fox 2 KTVU. California keeps key virus data out of the public sight. California Governor Gavin Newsom has said from the start his coronavirus policy decisions would be driven by data shared by the public to provide maximum transparency. But the state starting to emerge from its worst surge, his administration won't disclose key information that will help determine when his latest stay-at-home order is lifted. That was 3 days ago when we were doing it. I wanted to backtrack on that because that's when you come back to this. There is no data to support what he's doing, except maybe that data he has on his polling that says, you know what, Californians are pissed at you for trying to rule and put us under your thumb. And this is what's coming back. Now you're trying to backtrack because you think your butt's going to get recalled. That's the only reason I can come up with, and he did that. And the reporter asked him the question: Are you changing this because of the recall effort? No, that's not any of this. It's unscientific data that they won't even show you because you know why? Because a third grader could pick it apart. That's why they're not showing it to you. Why you allow Gavin Newsom and that Martitian Galley and everybody else to blow smoke up your skirt, I don't know. I can't wrap my head around it.
I can't either.
This is Tulsi Gabbard, who just retired from the House of Representatives from Hawaii on that. This is the danger, and we'll get to Brennan, the ex-CIA director under Obama. You don't think they're coming after you? This is Tulsi Gabbard, Democrat from Hawaii. Here we go.
From Hawaii, Democrat joins us now. Congresswoman, great to see you. I know you've just been out of the job for a week or two. Are you surprised they're pushing forward with this extra surveillance on would-be domestic terror?
It's so dangerous. You know, as you guys have been talking about, this is an issue that all Democrats, Republicans, Independents, Libertarians should be extremely concerned about, especially because we don't have to guess about where this goes or how this ends. When you have people like former CIA Director John Brennan openly talking about how he's spoken with or heard from appointees and nominees in the Biden administration who are already starting to look across our country for these types of movements similar to the insurgencies they've seen overseas, that in his words, he says, make up this unholy alliance of religious extremists, racists, bigots. He lists a few others and adds at the end, even libertarians. So when you look at their process and they start looking at, okay, what characteristics are we looking for as we're building this profile of a potential extremist? What are we talking about? A religious extremist? Are we talking about Christians, evangelical Christians? What is a religious extremist? Is it somebody who's pro-life? I mean, where do you take this? You start looking at, okay, well, obviously have to be a white person, obviously likely male, libertarians, well, if anybody who loves freedom, liberty, maybe has an American flag outside their house, or people who, attended a Trump rally. Once you start walking this down the path, you see where it leads to a very dangerous undermining of our civil liberties, our freedoms in our Constitution, and a targeting of almost half of the country.
We've run that, and I said it's been a war on the straight right male. And she kind of bounced around it, but that's why I'm wearing the cowboy hat. You heard the descriptions of what that's looking at this face right here. She almost described me to a T in that whole rendition. That's who they're coming after. They're coming after freedom-loving, constitutional-loving Americans who respect George Washington and his merry band of warriors in 1776, and every person, including Tulsi Gabbard, who has fought and died or bled for this country, to give you the right for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And if you buckle on that, if you don't see what's coming, Jarrett and Carlos, there's Tulsi Gabbard, Democrat, served in the House for 10 years, I think, or close to it, ran for president, was second in command of the Democratic Party in 2016. That's telling you this. It's not Donald Trump. It's not the vast right-wing conspiracy. It's not Roy with his cowboy hat, you want to portray as a white supremacist, racist, lunatic, da-da-da-da-da. This is what you call facts, this is what you call evidence, and that's what you should be opening your eyes to what's happening.
I think we need kitten videos. You need a kitten video in your life, huh? I'm just saying. You need a kitten video. Did you want to do the intro, or are we skipping?
No, actually, we're having trouble with KMET. They're down on because of the snow and the rain and the lightning. They're down on their deal. So if we do come back with them, we'll let you know that
we are not
that they're coming in. But yeah, it looks like we're not going to be on KMET on this half hour of that we usually are, but we will still continue on IE Newswire as we do with our great video broadcast on Facebook, Twitch, and
on YouTube. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button and share us all over your world, and head over to our Twitch account and hit that purple follow button.
The aforementioned Tulsi Gabbard, Democrat of Hawaii, who just recently retired and is from the Congress of that, she mentioned the aforementioned John Brennan. John Brennan was a CIA director under Barack Obama and Joe Biden, I think from 2013 to 2017. Let's hear a little bit of the interview of where John Brennan, who I think has probably got the ear of Joe Biden, coming on, and what he actually said, just in case you think Tulsi Gabbard is lying or misinterpreting what he said. Former CIA director under Obama Biden, John Brennan.
On the call, I was thinking today that this is the most relaxed I've been in the course of many inaugurations I've watched, because I'm not responsible for it. But I can tell you that when I was in the government, I had white knuckles because of the nature of the threats. But it's so much more difficult today because of what we have seen, not just over the last 2 weeks, but that certainly has riveted our attention, but because of this growth in polarization in the United States and domestic violence in white supremacist groups. So I know, looking forward, that the members of the Biden team who have been nominated or have been appointed are now moving in laser-like fashion to try to uncover as much as they can about what to insurgency movements that we've seen overseas, where they germinate in different parts of the country and they gain strength, and it brings together an unholy alliance frequently of religious extremists, authoritarians, fascists, bigots, racists, nativists, even libertarians. And unfortunately, I think there has been this momentum that has been generated as a result of, unfortunately, the demagogic rhetoric of people that's just departed government, but also those who continue in the halls of Congress.
So you heard it. White supremacists, bigoted, even if you're this, that, and the other, if you disagree with Nancy Pelosi or John Brennan or Barack Obama or Biden, even libertarians. I will remind you, our 5th District Supervisor in Riverside County is a registered libertarian and very active in the Libertarian Party. So you heard it from Tulsi Gabbard of the dangers of letting people like Joe Biden, John Brennan, Nancy Pelosi, Chucky Schumer, the evil twin governors, Andrew Cuomo, and Gavin Newsom, and on their ilk, that are systematically driving you or driving us into a categories of stuff that is no further from the truth and so far out of reality it isn't even worth talking about, except they keep doing it every day. As Rand Paul jumped on George Stephanopoulos on This Week on Sunday when he said, well, why can't you admit the election fraud is a lie and it didn't happen today? And Rand Paul said no. He said, you're injecting yourself into it. They keep telling a lie. You tell a lie long enough, it becomes the truth, because perception is reality. And they're putting the perception of anybody that wears a cowboy hat, that puts an American flag out in front of their house, that preaches freedom and liberty in the Constitution, is a white, racist, bigoted, needs to be stomped out across the earth. They need to be regulated, jailed. I don't know what they have in store, but it ain't looking good.
I don't feel that way, though. So they haven't gotten to my brain yet. They haven't brainwashed me. You're welcome.
So how do you take that when they say that?
Me?
Yeah.
I just ignore it because I don't feel that way. So I can sit there and I can choose to believe it, or I can just go one ear and out the other, which I think people need to start doing a little bit more. I think it's very rude that people are putting these titles on people they don't even know. I mean, this is kind of going to a more personal topic than what you were just speaking of. But to call someone racist and all that, it's horrible. I don't get where the world became so nasty. Just to call, and I feel like anyone that does call someone racist or those evil names that, I mean, we've been experiencing lately, I think are that themselves. I think everybody needs to watch a damn kitten video. I'm sticking with that.
And you want to go back and everybody see, like the Antifa rallies and stuff like that. Go back 10 years ago. Who was egging on public employee unions of invading the Wisconsin Capitol and doing that? None other than Nancy Pelosi. This didn't start this year. It's been a long-standing tradition of what's been going on. It's been under the current. You've heard John Brennan, who was CIA director under the Obama-Biden administration. You've heard all this evidence. And I don't know what else to say on this whole thing, because it is on. It's just it's for some. It's mind-boggling to me. but we're going to get maybe hopefully a saner outlook than sometimes I come up with on this stuff. We have back on the line, and we've had him on many times on the show. He's the owner of Toyota San Bernardino, San Bernardino of Subaru, the new San Bernardino of Nissan, and I-10 Toyota in Indio. Cliff Cummings, welcome to IE Newswire with Steph and Roy.
Well, thank you. How are you all tonight on this frozen tundra night?
That was awesome.
Yes, maybe we'll get a tundra and do some four-wheeling in the snow or something going on and forget all this stuff on that. In an astonishing reversal of that, 3 days ago we were all going to disappear in the abyss of hell over COVID-19 and the worst numbers and this and ordering lockdowns and this and that. And he steps up to the plate today and says, well, we're rescinding the orders. And the reporter asks him the question, has this got anything to do with the recall and this and that and anything else? He said, no, it's based on the science and data, which 3 days ago he refused to release to the public, the press, or anybody else. Cliff Cummings.
It's really simple. He is helping recall himself. Because he is too stupid to be governor, number one. Number two, think about it. Who's he putting back to work? All the folks who don't like him anymore. All right? They may have voted for him previously, but when I get Hispanic restaurant owners getting petition drives done, then you know they're a little cranky right now. And so when you're sitting there and you're saying, Governor haircut, you really don't want to have this happen if you're his political advisor. He now has cover to say, my people told me not to do this, but I did it anyway because it's the right thing to do. And, okay, all right, maybe he could figure that out all by himself without a coloring book, but I doubt it. And at the same time, he has to answer to all of these folks who have gone out of business. It's astounding. What has it's shameful. All right, so now what do? Where do we go from there? We've got some vaccines out there. There are so many different stories about what works, what doesn't work, how long does it last. Nobody knows what the hell is going on with them. They have no clue. And people are lined up out there to take them for whatever reason. And they're just, okay, I'll take it. All right, great. I'm glad you're taking it. That's really cool. Now, tell me, how long does it last? Well, we don't know. All right, tell me. And I'm not in any way an anti-vaxxer, okay? I'm just saying that you have got so many people with so many different theories about things that you don't know what's going to work and what's not going to work. And as such, I would dearly love to know what is going to work. So let's put that aside. But when you've got all these folks now starting to come back to work and they say, well, the lockdown's over. Dude, I've been eating in restaurants since the lockdown started because he has no credibility. And so people have been absolutely ignoring whatever drivel he has had to say. So, fine. Now all of a sudden he's in trouble. Let's face it. There's no doubt he's in trouble. We all know he's in trouble. And so what are they going to do? They're going to sit there and deny, which I would do were I he. Thank God I'm not. And I would sit there and say, okay, fine. It has nothing to do with the fact that I'm getting killed in the polls. It has nothing to do with the fact that you've got people leaving the state in absolute droves. Oh, my God. It is astounding how many people are leaving the state. And we talk about it all the time whenever I'm on. And I'm sorry, because you know what? That's my market leaving. Those are my customers that are leaving, that he personally himself is driving away. So now, then you have all the other folks, and you look out there, and we can go right back to the sheep thing that Savage is always talking about. I'm looking at people in a car, all alone, riding along with their mask on. And I know they're saving themselves from something. I don't know what the hell it is, but they're saving themselves from something. So as they sit there and drive along just really nicely in their little unit with absolutely, frankly, there's no reason for them to be doing what they're doing. But they are, and that's okay, because we want them to feel really good. So now you've got that. But the thing that I'm trying to get people to do, and I think we're proving it day after day after day, is the recall thing is going like crazy. Signatures, he's fueling his own demise, which is great. Signatures are coming in. They're hitting up to 1.3 million. We've got a couple of weeks. There's a big series of events around the state on February 1. There's funding coming in from all over the place. So my answer, my don't be a sheep. Right? Don't be a sheep. You're going to sit there and look at the policies he's going with. Forget about Biden, right? $15 minimum wage. It's going to put kids out of work, right? It's going to make restaurant prices go way up. It's going to make other prices go way up, gas prices, you name it, right? But they don't care. And that's Joe doing it, but that's California started it. So now you've got to deal with all of the economic fallout that horrible policies, which have been proven not to work in the past, are being foisted upon the American and Californian residents by a guy who, frankly, just has no idea what he's doing. So, all right, now you got minimum wage is going to have prices go up, and everything will go up. Just name it, it'll go up. You've got Facebook. People see this, and what I don't understand, and maybe you guys can explain it to me, is why don't people share what they're seeing on Facebook when it makes this guy look like an absolute clown? I do not understand that. I would like to understand it, certainly, but I do not understand what is the deal there. That just makes no sense to me at all, any, none, zero. So, all right, so moving further down the line, you've got vaccines. And everybody's running out. We've got a vaccine. I'm all in. Love it. Great. Terrific. How long does it last? We don't know. Okay, better. All right. How long to get it? California. The worst delivery in the country. In the country. That's the entire country. So number 50. If you include the District of Columbia, you can probably say 51st. So now you've got this guy out there. He screwed that all up. And how hard is it to help somebody get better? I don't think it's that. If it works, that's great. Doesn't work, he's going to have a whole nother set of problems, I'm pretty sure. So, again, here we go. So now you've got the vaccines are screwed up. The lockdown is screwed up. The school system, moms and dad, I can't wait to get a real count on the suicide rate. So now you've got people locked down who don't want to be locked down. I don't want to be locked down. I'm not locked down because my business is considered essential. So we go to work. And we've got great folks who are going to work. So they are absolutely working their butts off to keep this economy going and make a living for their families. Tell me what this guy is doing to help. I can't find it. And anybody who is out there saying, oh, he's a nice man, I really like his hair. I like his hair. So, yeah, explain to me, and I think that's in politics now, that's actually probably a valid reason to vote for someone. And I can see that. That's fine. All right, let's go with that. He's got nice hair. So what do we do now? Somebody tell me what the hell we do now, because it's going to be a cavalry charge for this recall, because I'm relatively confident that it's going to be successful, relatively confident at this point. I would like to see 1.9 million in signatures, 2 million because all the duplicates. But if that's the case, now remember Cruz Bustamante, you see him on milk cartons? He's the only Democrat out there to run. And he was never heard from again politically. Over and out. See you later. Hasta mañana. Now you're going to have a cavalry charge. We were talking to a friendly Republican legislator the other night, and she said there are 5 relatively well-known Democrats who are going to run against Governor Haircut. So, all right, well, that's great. So they're going to run. So now we're going to, which could not possibly be better for the Republicans. It's fabulous for the Republicans. The reason is that in a recall, you don't need anything but a majority. You don't need a supermajority. You don't need 50%, right? You just need to win. And if you get 5 major Democrats out there who run, if they are not talked out of it, and if I were the Democrats, I would definitely talk them out of it, then a Republican getting maybe 30% of the vote, give or take, can win. And if you get the conservative, fiscal conservatives, forget social, I don't hear about it, all right? Fiscal conservatives, that we need those folks to understand that this is exactly how we're going to win this deal, is by getting out there and supporting a candidate who can win. You know, when I did my 15-minute run for Congress until they told me I had to tell them everything, I didn't believe I had to tell them everything. They said, oh, I got a call from a guy. He says, hey, where do you stand on abortion? I said, where do you stand on abortion? He says, well, let me tell you something. If you're pro-abortion, I will vote for your opponent. I said, my opponent is a rabid, wild-eyed, left-wing commie maniac. He goes, yep, I'll vote for him. I said, well, this is exactly the kind of guy we want voting in an election. So anyway, okay, fine. That's certainly his right to do. I would never I would fight to the death for his right to be stupid. So that's great. So now what do we go again? Do we get a Democrat out there who either wins or loses? And if he, frankly, I don't think they can win. I think that at this point, when we reach critical mass on the recall, people will have had enough. And clearly the governor is attempting in his own way, whether real or imagined, to fight off the effects of what will happen in the recall. And believe me, those effects are substantial. So now that I've almost run out of breath, there's one more thing I want to throw at you. There are the greatest Bernie memes I've ever seen in my life on social media right now. Are they unreal? They're phenomenal. You got Bernie with the Beverly Hillbillies. You got Bernie with. Just go down the list. It's fantastic what's going on there.
Did you see where Bernie was inside the studio, Cliff, with Roy?
Say again?
When we had Bernie Sanders inside the studio with Roy the other day. Did you see that one?
I didn't see it.
I'll have to send it to you.
Tell me these things. Please do. But here's the one thing I do want to throw out there, and I mean, we kibitz a lot. We have some fun. But the folks who see this stuff about whether it's the recall or it's about any item of substance that we need to get out there, they've got to stand there and they've got to put this out on social media so that people understand what's happening. I think looking at it and going, oh, that's cute, well, we appreciate you looking at it, but you have to pass it along. And there are so many, again, there's so many people out there who are not experienced in politics. They're super nice people. I am absolutely positive that they would be thrilled to have a sense of what how important this is. But again, it's just we got to get the folks out there, and that's the message of the day. When it hits you, get out there and go vote.
I wouldn't necessarily do this, but Cliff asked for explain this to me, so I will, and I will bring back the voice.
Oh no,
Gavin Newsom. No. He's so
carry on.
No, and it is, but I want to get your thought on this. So all seriousness aside, Cliff, as I've been reading reports that even the Silicon Valley moguls are starting to turn on Gavin Newsom on this whole deal. If he loses that support, I mean, he talk about burnt toast. He's even goner than burnt toast.
Well, first off, it seems to me that it behooves them to make sense about this, because you've got it's almost a moot point at this point, because Silicon Valley is moving to Austin, Texas. Right now, the Texans are pissed about it, and certainly I'd be if I were in Texas. But they are moving with Musk going. I can tell you some Musk stories. I can't use the kind of language on the air that, frankly, Musk used. But they are in the process of vacating their little fiefdom.
Yep.
And that is, I say it's a shame, but I'm not really sure it's a shame. But at the end of the day, when this all collapses around, I keep saying Governor Haircut, that there is going to be hell to pay. And his party will desert him. So let's not kid ourselves. This party will desert him in a New York second. And they are in the process, as you just pointed out, of starting to do that right now.
It's about time, and maybe, like I said when we talked last week, I think this is really the time to crank this up and nationalize this election, not only for California, but, I mean, this can be the jumping point of the 2022 midterms and the 2024 presidential race and all that, and the Senate seats and everything else. We start cleaning up California and start turning this around. And like you said earlier, I mean, it's like the Barney Fife deal when, back in Mayberry and Andy Taylor, only gave Barney one bullet and he had to put it in his pocket. He couldn't keep it in his gun because Gavin Newsom just seems to keep shooting himself in the foot every day.
Yeah, he's got to be running out of toes. It really is a shame, but, I don't know if people are that politically inexperienced. I don't know if, because I can't find a guy. I know one. Wait a minute. Nope. I know two people who voted for Newsom. Oh, 4, 5. I know 5. All right, 5. Nobody else I know, whether they're a moderate Dem or a Republican or what, voted for this guy. And as a result, I can't be mad at them. But what I can be mad at is the people who did vote for him, knowing that he is a straight party. They voted for him on a straight party line ticket. And that is dangerous. Look, I am a good, solid Republican. But if the Republicans run a moron, believe me, I'm going to vote for the Democrat if he's reasonable or she's reasonable. And does that happen often? Nope, sure doesn't. But again, I don't think that there's a litmus test in my mind. Just because you've got an R next to your name, is it likely that I'll vote for an R? Hell yeah, it is. And it would be a rare day that I vote for a D. But the fact is, there are times when I'm just not into people who are running for the sake of expediency. I'm moving my campaign. I'm doing this. I want to go there. And I just want to be in an elected office because. Well, because is not a real big thing for me. Because is I'm doing it because I may not have anything better to do, or I'm pissed at somebody. I'll take this. But again, you've got to have gravitas. And many of these guys don't have any at all, none, zero. So we drop kick them. Now, let me go back to my other point. When you're looking at the ballot, when you're looking at all these social media posts, it is imperative that people get engaged. They absolutely have got to get engaged. It's so important that we have a voice out there, not a click-through, all right, but a voice that says, hey, I am really tired of this, and it is getting ugly, and you know that the left is going to go real hard when they start panicking. And then I would predict right now that if the recall goes out of reach, and it easily could do that, they will abandon Newsom as fast as they can get away. That's what I think will happen.
Time flies when we're having fun. We'll do this again real soon, Cliff.
Okay, bud. Take care.
Thanks, Cliff.
Right.
We didn't get to that. Rest in peace, Mike Too Tall Bell, motocross champion from the 80s. He passed away, had a heart attack riding his mountain bike up in Southern California. So we send our condolences to his family. We'll be back tomorrow to bring you everything that's going on and more of that. So until then,
We're gone.